Welcome to Box Center. Your host, JSmiff, in the flesh. This is just a quick recap of what we saw yesterday, right? So starting off with Rolly Romero, in his fight, he was in the beginning, the first few rounds, a little bit maybe overly cautious, trying to stay away from getting clipped. But then eventually he started picking up the pace, started putting them combinations together, and he walked out of there with the unanimous decision. So good win for Rollies. Um, let's see what's next for him. Let's see if he's gonna, because remember after he took that loss to Pitbull Cruz, it's kind of like his stock dropped. His name hasn't been buzzing like that anymore. So let's see what's next for Rolly. Good win. Then you got Calen Plant. Whoa, what a fight, my peoples. That was a fight right there. It was, Caleb Plant showed what it is when people talk about levels. Caleb Plant showed it. If you watch that fight, in the first few rounds, dude was landing some hard shots on Caleb. He rattled them, had him wobbled, hurt. So for a moment there, I think in the third round maybe, it looked like dude was gonna beat Caleb, like it was going in that direction, right? And then I can't remember right now what round was it. Caleb went on the inside, and they traded leather, and he won the exchange, and the round finished. But he clearly dominated that exchange on the inside, right? For the next round, Caleb rushed him and went for that, inside of a phone booth type of fight. And that's it. From that point on, Caleb Plant dominated his opponent. So basically, you got to see him make the adjustments necessary. I'm telling you, the way that it started off, it didn't look good for Caleb. But he made the right adjustments and walked out of there with the W. He ended up, knocking his opponent out. The referee had to stop it. So it went from Caleb, eating some big shots to stopping his opponent. So the first two fights, Rolly Romero was a good fight and he won. But Caleb Plant, that was exciting, yo. That was a real good fight. Then you got Danny Garcia, Erislandis Lara. That fight didn't play out the way I thought it would, just because I felt like Danny was gonna be more aggressive, and also like his power was going to be something that Erislandis Lara was going to respect, but it didn't play out that way. Lara was actually the guy walking Danny down throughout the fight. So you can see that moving up to 154 in that division, Danny wasn't, his power didn't carry up there with him. Lara, he's 41 years old, man, and he looked great. I told people about that, footwork, that long jab. He kept that long jab out there. And, something I definitely was not expecting, Erislandis Lara ended up stopping Danny Garcia. Stopped him. And it looks like Danny had already been hurt, I guess, throughout the fight. He was getting picked apart, maybe, because he actually got hit with a jab when he went down. And then when he went to his corner, I guess his father asked him something, or that's what it looked like, and they pulled the plug. That's it. So, whatever the case was, obviously Danny was hurt because he's a warrior. He's not the type of guy to just give up. Erislandis Lara retains his title. And then for the main event. The main event was super interesting, yo. Edgar Berlanga showed us that he's a warrior. He got dropped with a filthy left hook I was filthy. And yo, he got up, and right after that, he started banging it out with Canelo. Like, he didn't go, on survival mode or started clinching. No, he started banging it out. He started letting his hands go as well. And I thought he was gonna get stopped. I've been predicting that Berlanga was gonna get stopped in the 10th round or before, and that didn't happen, yo. He went the distance with Canelo, showed that he's a warrior, and of course, Canelo showed that he's levels above. My peoples, you already know what it is, man. Box Center, yo, this is it right here. If you love boxing, don't be cheap with that like button. It's free of charge. Hit that like button. And if you love boxing, subscribe to Box Center. You already know what it is, man. Your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. We on the come up, yo. Join the Box Center family and come on for this ride. But there you have it, yo. Rollies won his fight like he was supposed to. Calen Plant, his fight was crazy. He won. His opponent was a lot tougher than a lot of us expected. The guy has some nasty power in both hands. The difference in this fight was he did not have the inside game that Berlanga does. And that's what you see in an elite level fighter, like, my bad, like Calen Plant does. And that's what you see in elite level fighters. Like, we already know Calen Plant can outbox you from the outside. He can use his jab, he can use his footwork. We already know that about Calen Plant. But did you know that he could sit there on the inside and bang with you for the duration? We saw that yesterday. He can do it both ways. He can make the adjustments. And that's what it's about. Can you make the adjustments when when you fight at that high level and you've been beating guys, with your style, with the way you do things? When you find somebody that's making it difficult for you, that has a style that, affects how you operate, can you make adjustments? And that's what we saw yesterday from Calen Plant. Made it happen. Danny Garcia versus Erislandis Lara. To be honest, that fight, it even had the crowd booing at one point. You could hear the people, boo, boo. Why? Because again, you're thinking, I'm personally looking at it like, okay, this is the power puncher versus the boxer. But Danny did not turn out to be the power puncher at 154. So it didn't play out quite the way I thought it would. And it's crazy because that's the fight that I was not able to predict. I couldn't predict that fight. I was like, because, Danny power, Lara's boxing IQ, the classic matchup of the puncher and the boxer. I don't know who's going to win that fight. But to be honest, after the first round, I already knew Lara was going to win. Like, the first round, I was going to say it on video, but I was like, nah. Like, that's corny. Like, you predict a fight before it starts. You don't watch it and then say, oh, yeah, this guy's going to win. But after the first round, I saw the way Lara was moving. I mean, I was hoping that Danny would pick up the pace and do a little bit more. That just never happened. It just never happened, my peoples. If you love boxing, don't be cheap with that like button. Hit that like button. Subscribe to Box Center. Exclusive boxing content, my peoples. By the way, check this out. Today, I'm going to be at an elite level amateur tournament. So y'all going to see some exclusive content. I'm going to be at the neutral corner shooting that video. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy, my peoples. So what's next for Canelo Alvarez? That's the magic question. Okay? He beat Berlanga. Most of us expected him to win that fight. We thought it would be by stoppage. It went the distance. So Berlanga showed us that he's a warrior. Now, where does Canelo go next? One thing I want to say, man, about Edgar Berlanga that I didn't like. So yesterday, if you saw the fight, you seen him get his ass beat. He got beat up, right? Okay? You got up, you fought back, you fought hard, but you got beat up. So how you trash talking Canelo throughout the fight while you getting beat up? Why you doing that? So to me, that's not a good look. Take your loss with grace. You don't need to be trash talking a fighter when you're the one getting beat up. I understand if you're winning, if you landing big shots, but you up there getting beat up. Why is you trash talking? So I really didn't like that. Now the magic question, because I digressed. The magic question is Canelo Alvarez gonna fight Terence Crawford or David Benavidez? Bud or the Mexican Monster? Who's he gonna fight? Now, we already know that His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh is backing Crawford versus Canelo. He wants that fight. He has stated that publicly. And interestingly enough, yesterday, while Canelo Alvarez was fighting Edgar Berlanga in Vegas, Terence Crawford was sitting with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh in the Sphere, also in Vegas. So you already know. I believe, that fight finished, and His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh looked at Bud like, okay, let's go to work. Let's make this fight happen. So you never know. They all in Vegas. Set that meeting up and make that fight happen. And listen, I'm going to just tell everybody right now, it's not that I don't want to see Canelo Alvarez fight Benavidez. I want to see Canelo fight Benavidez. But he don't want to make that fight, man. It's been years already and he hasn't made that fight. So I already know he doesn't want to make it. Now, with Terence Crawford, he said that was easy money. He was like, that's easy money. That's weight classes for a reason and all this stuff. So, what I believe, His Excellency is going to present an offer to fight Terence Bud Crawford, and Canelo's going to take it. I'm hopeful. I'm speaking it into existence. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez is going to happen. Uncle Stewie, what's the deal, my guy? Yo, you saw that yesterday, man. It was a great card. Rollies, he won his fight. He started off a little bit slow. Looked like he was a bit tentative. But then he started stepping up the pace, putting his combinations together, and walked out of there with the unanimous decision. Yo, Calen Plant, though, versus homeboy, I can't remember his name. Yo, that was a heck of a fight. What a fight, man. Yeah, it was a bad night for Danny. Real, to be honest, the way Danny looked out there, I think retirement is going to be part of the conversation. Because, he can't really move back down to 147 and expect to do anything over there with those young guns that are coming up. So what is he going to do at 147? And at 154, we already see that, Danny's power definitely did not carry into that division. And, when Eddie's Lara stops you, you already know. And it was a jab. It was a jab that hit him and he just went down. I guess, to me, this stoppage came via an accumulation of punishment. It wasn't one punch that did it. It was just he took so many that's it. He was done. So, yeah, I agree. It was a bad night for Danny Garcia. Hopefully he got a nice paycheck for that. And let's see. But, Calen Plant, it was a great night for him, though. He showed that he can adjust. He showed why he's a top level, elite level fighter. The guy, if you watch that fight with Calen Plant, the first 3 rounds, homeboy was landing some bombs on him. Made him wobble, buckled him and all that. That was a tough fight. And then what happened? Caleb, made the adjustments. And before you know it, he was putting hands and feet on dude. Lacing him with them gloves. And that's it. He ended up stopping him. Look at that. The guy looked like he was going to stop Calen Plant. And, shock the world. Nope. He got stopped. So that's what they mean when they say it's levels. Real good fighters can fight They can beat good fighters, but great fighters, they can adjust. They can adapt. They can find a way to win. When that fight started, yo, it did not look like Calen Plant, was in a good situation, to put it lightly. This dude, he was fighting, hit real hard, power in both hands. You could see every time he landed, he was moving Caleb's whole body. It was like, yo, if this dude lands flush, he gonna sleep him. He gonna put him to bed right here. But yo, Caleb made the adjustments and showed what he's about. Show why he's a champion, a championship. Well, he's not a champion right now, but he's a championship caliber fighter. He showed it yesterday. And Canelo versus Berlanga, yo, my peoples, listen, that fight, we just didn't know how it was gonna play out. Everybody made their predictions. A few predicted that Berlanga was gonna win. You should have known. You should have seen it coming. I predicted that Canelo was gonna stop him. He wasn't able to. It went the distance. Berlanga showed that he's a warrior. Definitely got beat up. Lost, unanimous decision, and one judge gave him 3 rounds. Another judge gave him 2. I gave him 1. I saw him winning 1 round throughout the entire fight. So what I saw was a pummeling session, and we saw it. And listen, I believe this is what we had to expect, simply because Edgar Berlanga had never been in a championship fight, and you going up against Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez been involved in more championship fights than Berlanga got fights in his career, in his professional career. So imagine that. And I said it before the fight, these lights, they're going to be too bright for Berlanga. And they was too bright. Look how goofy he was acting. How you get punched in the face and then start trash talking your opponent? Like, he was trash talking Canelo throughout the fight. Like, that wasn't a good look. To me, if you're a fighter and you're losing, just do your best to try to win. Do your best to try to, make adjustments. But you out there, trash talking your opponent while you're getting beat up, you look goofy as hell. You look goofy as hell for that. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to give Edgar Berlanga goofiest of the oofiest for that one. He's getting nominated. Just know that he's getting nominated. Crawford at UFC event calling out Canelo, kind of disrespectful. I love, but. So here's the interesting thing about that. My guy. You can recall that His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh already expressed that he wants to make that fight happen. Well, who was Terence Crawford sitting next to at that UFC event in Vegas? His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. So, listen, man. Listen. They moving smart. All of them peoples are in Vegas today. You never know. Your peoples could meet up with my peoples, and they could work something out. They could work out, obviously they're not going to come to an agreement, but our peoples could meet up and we can agree to a future meeting. We could agree to a phone call, So with all the peoples being in Vegas, I think that they could walk out of there today with some type of agreement to future conversations. So let's see. I wouldn't be surprised, man, if Canelo walked out of the arena or drove out of the arena and already had a message from His Excellency waiting for him. Like, this dude trying to holler at you. What's good? So we're going to see it, man. We're going to see how it's going to play out. I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to be Canelo's next opponent. And I really feel like it can be Terence Bud Crawford. And then we're going to go back into the predictions game. Let's start predicting. Everybody's sure that Canelo is going to stop Crawford. And Crawford is too small. The Crawford is too small narrative. Y'all should have learned from that already. Should have been knew that too small, that's nothing. But, Y'all gonna find out, my peoples. Y'all gonna find out. And I always tell everyone, look, when it's about moving up in weight, right? You always have to look at the physical advantages that a fighter has when moving up in weight. So let me give you an example. Danny Garcia, he moved up to 154, right? But he's a small guy. He's not a big guy. Lara had or has a huge height and reach advantage over him. And we saw him basically use that height and reach advantage to offset anything that Danny could have done. Like Danny wasn't able to do anything yesterday. He wasn't able to do anything yesterday. So when you move up in weight classes and you fight guys who are taller and have longer reach, you struggle because they're already in a higher division, but now they have these physical advantages. Now, let's go to Crawford and Canelo. Crawford is moving up multiple divisions, but he has two important physical advantages over Canelo, which is he's taller and has longer reach. Now, Dimitri Bivol showed us the blueprint to beat Canelo Alvarez, as did Floyd. And it wasn't power. Neither of those guys are power punchers or had a high knockout percentage when they beat Canelo. So it's about boxing skills. That's how he got beat. So Terrence Bud Crawford has two of the physical advantages, height and reach, that were used to beat Canelo in his last loss. You have to take that into consideration. So all that stuff about bigger, he's bigger, he's bigger. What exactly do we mean he's bigger? All we mean is that he's stronger. That's it. That's all we mean, is that he is stronger. The guys that beat him, were they stronger than Canelo? Nope. They were not. Did they hit harder than Canelo? Nope. They did not. They outboxed him. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But he's going to outbox him. Hold that. Anyways, my peoples, I appreciate you hopping on with me. Remember, Mondays through Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Box Center the show. You got to check it out, man. Box Center the show is original content. You ain't never seen it before. And it's for the boxing people, man. Canelo is a born fighter, not a technical boxer. That, that's I'm not sure I want to agree with you. Like I understand the part about being a born fighter. He's a fighter. He wanna fight. He wanna trade. He wanna, fight inside of a phone booth. I understand that part. But he can be a technical boxer at times. On the inside, he's a technical boxer. He puts the shoulder in the right way, puts himself in the right angles. He does a lot of little technical things that, what the thing about Canelo is that I would say he's not flashy. That's what it is. He's not flashy. But I think he does a lot of little technical things on the inside that you don't really notice. And that, he does things defensively that, are advanced, like the way he turns, like when the punch is coming, the way he turns his head away from it, and, the angles that he gives when he's trading leather on the inside. He does a lot of little technical things that are just not flashy. It's a God-given. Yo, man, listen, just look at the resume. People still discredit Canelo and say all type of crazy stuff. If you look at the resume, Canelo's resume is insane. The names on his resume they're insane. So that's why, when you have a resume, and people have to understand that, they don't like to admit it. They don't like to accept it. But when you have a resume like that, like he has, you fought so many champions, so many of the best. When you're 2-3 fights away from retirement, you get to pick whoever you want. And, of course, people are going to demand this fight and that fight. But with the type of money that you made, you're looking out for yourself at this point. You've been giving a career to the fans. At this point, you're like, no, 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 wait a minute. If I fight this dude, y'all still gonna love this fight. Like, you see how a lot of people are saying, oh, I don't want to see him fight Bud. I don't want that fight. You think they're not gonna watch it? They not gonna watch it? So, I don't want to hear to me, it's funny as hell when people say they don't want to see Bud versus Canelo. They'll be the first ones watching. But but anyways, my peoples, I appreciate y'all hopping on with me. You already know what it is. Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Make sure to tune in with me tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Box Center, the show. Y'all already know what it is. Peace.